talked about, and it's hard not to be disappointed by this season, the way it's gone for the Browns. But the Browns roster is set up to be good for quite a while. Let's take a look at this graph from Pro Football Focus. This is what NFL teams are set to lose by the value of their free agents. So in other words, offensive snaps from pending free agents. And the Browns are second to fewest snaps by pending free agents. And Philadelphia is the least, but then it goes the Browns and the Lions. So, and again, Dennis, we've already talked about, we think this roster is really good, and it's set to be together for a while. They got to figure out the quarterback position and get better quarterback play.
Yeah, the pesky little quarterback situation. But, Dave, I will say this. You and I have disagreed respectfully a little bit about how much talent is actually on the roster, because we were told about how much there is. I think you believe there's a lot more talent than I do. I think it is a quality roster, but I'm not over the moon, because I'm sitting here looking at it going, well, very realistic. You go into the offseason at 8-9, because I think you lose in Pittsburgh, but then the Scribinis play each other in the final week against Cincinnati. Maybe you scratch that one out. So I think you're 8-9 or potentially 7-10. At that point, I think all bets are off. I don't think you sit there and you go, well, it was just one of those years, and we were snake bit by injuries and illnesses. We'll be back better than ever with the same crew. I think you got to take a long look at every aspect of the organization. It doesn't mean you panic. It doesn't mean you knee-jerk, but it means that you evaluate every single thing and you go, okay, for one thing, on the field, were the guys that we thought were playmakers actually playmakers? Okay? I mean, going into the year, we were thinking, Hollywood Higgins. He's a potential playmaker with Baker, because he's Baker's security blanket. Well, Hollywood disappeared. Jarvis Landry, another year under his belt in the NFL, a quality player. But is Jarvis Landry a game breaker? No, he's not. He's not a superior receiver anymore. He's a quality guy. You win with him, but I don't think he's a transcendent player. So that type of thing, and I didn't mean to pick on Hollywood and Jarvis, but I was just talking about receivers, just receivers alone. Then you go to another position group and another, and you say, all right, are these guys really as good as we thought they were? And then, of course, the coaching staff has to look in the mirror and go, did we put these guys in the best position to succeed? The answer to me would be a resounding no, Dave, because with 6 games lost of 6 or fewer points, a lot of that to me is on coaching.
I would. I'll give you the wide receiver group. That's a glaring one that needs an upgrade. But I think when you look at it, the offensive line is young and they're good. Your running backs are young, they're good. On the defensive side of the ball, I really like the cornerbacks. You've got Myles Garrett. You do have to, Clowney coming back would be good. You need to. I love JOK. So your first 2-round picks, I think, are sustainable future all-star, Pro Bowl type players. So I think the talent is there, but there is a void. And your point about wide receivers, I agree wholeheartely with. That was the biggest miss, as far as grading this roster. They didn't play with the way you need wide receivers to play in the NFL.
Yeah, they need an explosive capability with the wideout. And I know they'll say, well, we had Odell, but he didn't want to be here. Well, one of the reasons he might not have wanted to be here, if we really want to reflect on it and be honest about it, is because the system and the quarterback. I mean, that's very possible. It was easy to dump on Odell. I was one of the people who did it. Oh, me, Jay, prima donna. But when you look at the results that he's having in L.A., and you go, well, maybe something was going on where the quarterback wasn't looking his way enough, or the system, the scheme wasn't allowing Beckham to do what he does. That's entirely possible. I'll tell you this, Dave. After what we saw on New Year's Day, is there any chance that C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba can possibly be eligible this April, and somehow the Browns can steal both of those guys? What a combination that is, huh?
Territorial rights. We'll go back to the dark ages of the NFL.
We get all Ohio State quarterbacks and wide receivers.
There you go. Territorial rights. We're reinstituting that.